Well, here we go again. So if you saw my last video on this thing, it was the crack is bad video. So yesterday we got everything scrubbed out with our Purple Power and Scotch-Brite and elbow grease to get all the real grease off. Still kind of shiny on the paint, so we're gonna have to go through and scuff one more time, but we're ready to go through and get this corner cleaned out and see how much rust scales underneath that paint, and then start tracking these cracks. Beep beep. We'll start tracking these cracks like this one, and we'll get those cleaned out. And there's one here and there, and it runs up that way and under here, and there's one back here, and we thought the other side was okay, and then we got all the grease cleaned out, and there's a crack there, and there's one starting here at the spot weld, and there's another one up here. So we need to take a fine-tooth comb to this side too, because all the seam sealer's broken here. Oh, the moral of the story is, and like in the last video, it's a box frame. It's leaf sprung. I've never seen, without having an impact, I've never seen damage like this. The moral of the story is that the front end has come up. The front bumper is either moved or the A-pillar has moved. But because it's on a chassis and there's no evidence here of any collision or repair, all this stuff's all in its original spot, and it's not crinkled any more than it's supposed to be. So this is, he smacked this down to put the air box in for the snorkel, so that's fine, but that's not going to crack all that stuff, you know. And like, look, it's even broken in here where the seams come together. So something's been moving in here. I don't really know what, about the only thing I can think of is maybe the body mounts need to be replaced, and it's just had miles put on it on off-road. So I'll probably suggest to the customer that he does body mounts when he gets it back, and then I'm going to do a good job at making sure I stitch all this stuff together real good and find all the cracks and re-seam seal everything. And it's just one of those things where you have to just keep an eye on it. Like I said briefly, you know, the right way to do it, not the right way, but the way to make sure that this thing's all locked up is to put tube around the front end, whether you put it, you know, exoskeleton inside, whether you run it in between the inner fender and outer fender and around the bumper. But what you're getting at there is you're tying the front bumper and the FCM, the front cross member, you're tying the FCM to the A-pillar. And once you do that, then you can kind of lock up the front end. But without doing that, you're relying on the frame and the sheet metal. And like I said, normally the frame's fine, but there's no arguing that it's broken. So that is what it is. I've talked to the customer and the owner, and we're going to just clean these out, and I'm going to do some magic in here. I'm debating on whether I want to, there's this piece right here, it's only held on by what I can see is 3 spot welds, so I'm debating on pulling that out of there so that I can fix this one and that one and the other one without having this little piece of crap in my way, and then I can just put it back into place and put the spot welds in there. I think it's just a water diverter, because when you get water in the cowl, it comes out here, and I think that's just a water and junk diverter to keep it from building up inside here and rotting all this out. So kind of thinking about doing that on this side, and then we'll see how the other side goes. It looks like it's not as bad, but that's what we're gonna get ready to do. I'm gonna take the wire wheel, get all the metal clean, and then we'll see how much welding we got to do. We'll put some liquid metal in there and make her happy again. Appreciate you guys. Talk at you soon. Here we go. cleaned up. It's ready for welding. It's all cleaned up. And I went around all these seams, make sure there was no corrosion in there, and then I'm probably gonna put some beads on all these seams and kind of just tie all this together better than the factory did, because it's obvious to me now that the spot welds are the failure points. So either they were too hot, metal's too thin, whatever. So we're gonna add some metal in around these seams and there and in there, and I'm still on the fence like I talked about on that piece. There's 4 spot welds on it, and by the time I get it out I might tear it up, so I'm debating. There's one there, and then there was actually one there, and then I'm going to tie all this stuff together on both sides and here and down this seam, and I'm just gonna try to make it as strong as I can make it. There was less scale in here than I thought, so I just got to buzz this one up and then acid treat this corner right here, and the rest of it looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit of brush, some encapsulation down there maybe, but the rest of it looks pretty good. So I can get the welder out. I don't know if you guys know that I've got 2 welders. I've got a big boy welder. This is it's a 180C, and the C means there's no clicks on any of these, and this will do up to 1/2 inch on triple pass. And then I have a 140 multi-pass, and the multi-pass I bought as a sheet metal only rig. I run 023 wire in it. I can do TIG and aluminum and that kind of a thing, but I don't know how, and I'm not really set up for it. I bought this for sheet metal. So this thing I've literally welded, like one of my clients brought me one time those aluminum, or not aluminum, but those little thin sheet metal covers for the solenoids on a generator, and it's like the thickness of a pop can, and I was able to weld that. So we'll get that stuff out, drag it out, put it up, and we'll make some holes go away. Remember, crack is bad, kids. Holy crap, what do we do? Hey. Holes are gone. Metal finished. Some dents. And that's ready for icing. Some mud. This is all done now. So I decided to seam weld everything up on the driver's side and passenger side around this front apron area. I did the bottom too, which wasn't done from the factory, and then went down here, down the edge, up, around, and fixed those two cracks. Did some work in here, stitched that back together, and then retacked it here and there and there, and up the seam and in the top. I made sure to anywhere where these panels intersected, I joined these panels where they weren't joined before. So this is 1, 2, 3 pieces, and it's all joined in the corner. And then there's another piece underneath, and then the top and the bottom are joined in the corner right here now. So that's going to help keep it from cracking quite a bit. I got this piece taken care of down here. Oh, it's gone now. Yep. Oh yeah, this is taken care of too. That was all torn out of there. And you can see where I did the work there. And then same thing on this side. We seam welded it. And then joined the corner. Seam welded, and then stitched all that together. And then the same thing like in here where you see these, there's 1, 2, 3 panels. I made sure to overlap my stitches there. Well, they're not, yeah, they're tax stitches, whatever you want to call them. And then it's down in there, across the bottom, and so without fully welding the whole thing, it's about as strong as it can be. And even if I did weld the whole thing, it ain't gonna be, it's not gonna make this sheet metal any stronger. So I mean, that's about as strong as you're gonna get anywhere you go. So we do that kind of stuff on especially unibody chassis, and especially race cars, like we did a S14. It was actually S14.5 with a LS3 and a CD09 conversion, and it was supposed to be a time attack car, so we fully welded the whole thing, and it's a unibody chassis with a K member in the bottom of it, and it really helps strengthen and stiffen up the front end. So on a body on chassis setup, normally you don't have to do that kind of work, but this isn't a normal scenario. And so, you know, between me, the customer, and our brains, we decided to do that. So it should last forever. And if it's done, if it don't, it's because, well, they're asking for it. We do that from time to time. But so now I'm going to start getting this side of the bed prepped, and I was just looking at the tailgate, and the tailgate's, I mean, it looks pretty straight, huh guys? But then you start looking real close, and it's like hit, and this letter is hit, and in between the letter is hit, and then this one's got a wow, and that one's got a wow, and that one's got a wow. There's one down here, and then it's got these that need to be welded up, and then it's got rust pits in it, and the emblem's got to come off, and we're gonna have some sweet love into this tailgate by the time we're done. We decided to shave the reflectors off, so that's prepped for a little patch panel, and the reason being is because this one's all dented anyway, so I'm gonna have to be in here doing a bunch of work. It's not gonna take much more time to throw a patch on there, throw a patch on there. I gotta body work it anyway, and yeah, then we'll prime it and get it all ready to go. I kind of think with the stage that I'm in, I'll finish going around the bed. I might skip the tailgate and do the tailgate with this pile of parts here, because I'm kind of ready to work on some loose parts. I think that made me feel better a little bit, but I realize that I get done with the tailgate, I get done with the bed side, it's really all I need the welder for, which is kind of crazy. So anyway, I'm gonna put the camera down and pick some tools up. How does that sound? Thanks for being here, guys. Make sure you smash those buttons for me.
I'm trying. I didn't get the picture and I thought I was filming and I didn't push the right button. So anyway, there's a dent. It was all full of red and pink filler. And I grabbed the camera and thought I was recording, but apparently I wasn't recording me taking the filler out. So we now know why the paint on the roof just blew up and why it got repainted. There was damage back here that nobody fixed right, and then just threw paint on. So I don't know when, where, who, what, or why, but we got another dent to fix, guys. We're doing better than we thought, and it's going pretty good. So, you know, I'm trying to make sure I get all the key points, but like, look, I already did all the welding, all the tailgate. I mean, theoretically, if we don't find any more holes, I'm done with the welder on this project. So, you know, we're off to prepping and rust repair and body work and shit. So, catch me if you can. Make sure to ring that bell. Did I not fucking push that button when I did that?